Alright, let's dive into something that's been on my mind lately, the great Aussie fashion exodus. You know, it's fascinating how Australia, a country known for its creativity and unique style, is facing a brain drain in the fashion industry. I mean, think about it, why are so many talented designers packing their bags and heading overseas? Is it just about the glitz and glamour of Paris or New York, or is there something deeper going on here? First off, let's talk about the hook. Australia produces world-class fashion talent, no doubt about it. But here's the kicker, once these designers go global, they rarely come back. Personally, I think this raises a bigger question: what is it about the Australian fashion industry that makes it a launching pad rather than a destination? Is it the scale, the opportunities, or something more intangible? Take Vlad Konevsky, for example. He's now a senior designer at Thom Browne in New York, and he says things that didn't seem possible in Australia have become a reality for him. What makes this really interesting is the contrast between his experience abroad and what he left behind. Australia's geographical isolation, as he points out, limits career options. But here's where it gets nuanced: it's not just about distance. It's about the ecosystem. Australia's fashion industry, despite its rich history, struggles to retain its top talent because it can't match the scale or resources of global fashion capitals. Now, let's take a step back and think about this historically. Australia's fashion scene has always been outward-looking. From David Jones importing Parisian styles in the 19th century to local designers like Colette Dinigan and Zimmermann making waves internationally, there's a legacy of global ambition. But what many people don't realize is that this outward focus has also created a cycle where talent leaves and rarely returns. It's almost like Australia is a talent incubator for the rest of the world. One thing that immediately stands out is the role of scholarships like the Australian Fashion Foundation, EFF. On the surface, it's a fantastic initiative, $20,000 and an internship at a luxury house. That's a game changer for any young designer. But here's the catch: only a handful of winners return to Australia. Most stay abroad, building careers in New York, Paris, or Milan. In my opinion, this isn't just about personal ambition, it's a reflection of the opportunities, or lack thereof, back home. Let's talk numbers for a second. The Australian Fashion Council estimates that only 1% of the 364,000 people employed in the industry are designers. That's a staggering statistic. What this really suggests is that while the industry is massive, it's not structured to support high-level creative roles. And when you add in the fact that only 3% of garments sold in Australia are made onshore, you start to see why designers like Tulisa Trantino feel they can't return. She loves Australia, but the lack of manufacturing capabilities and artisanal opportunities makes it feel like a step backward. But here's where it gets even more interesting: not everyone feels this way. Natalia Grozbowski, an AFF scholarship winner, has built her entire career in Australia. She's now the creative director at Bondi Bon. What makes her story stand out is her perspective on constraints. She says working within limitations requires a different kind of creativity. Personally, I find this fascinating because it challenges the narrative that Australia is just a stepping stone. It's a reminder that creativity isn't just about having endless resources, it's about making the most of what you have. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The Australian Fashion Council's 10-year manufacturing strategy is a step in the right direction, but it's just the beginning. If you take a step back and think about it, rebuilding an industry isn't just about factories and jobs, it's about mindset. Australia needs to position itself as a place where designers can thrive, not just survive. This raises a deeper question: can Australia compete with the fashion capitals of the world, or does it need to carve out its own unique niche? Finally, let's end with a thought-provoking idea. What if the brain drain isn't just a problem but also an opportunity? Australia's designers are making waves globally, and that's something to be proud of. Maybe the goal shouldn't be to bring everyone back but to create a global network of Australian talent that enriches the industry both at home and abroad. In my opinion, that's a win-win. So, what do you think? Is Australia's fashion brain drain a crisis, or is it the beginning of something even bigger? Let me know in the comments below.